Welcome to this deep dive. We take your sources, unpack them, and really try to find the most compelling insights.
Exactly.
And today, well, we're tackling a topic that feels like it's everywhere, AI. Specifically AI, through the lens of leadership.
That's right. We've been digging into the material you shared, mostly excerpts from a newsletter called IPL25.txt, which pulls from the Brand Called You podcast. It's quite a mix, actually. Different perspectives from professionals who are, grappling with AI right now.
And our goal here, our mission for this deep dive, is really to cut through some of the noise.
Yeah.
We want to understand how leaders, the ones really thinking ahead, are using AI not just for basic automation, but to augment their own capabilities
Right.
and their teams.
Augment. That's the key word.
We're looking at the tools, sure, but also the trust involved that seems crucial.
Yeah.
And where that essential human edge still fits in.
Because it's showing up in all sorts of ways, isn't it? I mean, the sources mention it helping write content or crunching marketing data,
Yeah, the expected stuff.
but also acting as a proper thought partner. Or even, sparking these bigger philosophical chats about creativity and, well, what makes us human.
So just to be clear, we're not here to push one view.
No, not at all.
It's about getting curious,
Right.
right? About AI's role in leadership, in making decisions, and sort of helping you navigate what this material is actually saying.
Exactly. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's jump in. What immediately stood out for me, it was seeing AI framed not just as a tool you use on your work, but almost as a partner you work with. Especially when you're tackling really big, ambitious goals. The material even talks about how this helped scale a business significantly.
Yeah, and what's really interesting there is how the sources link using AI to setting those impossibly large goals, as they put it.
Right.
It's not about just asking the AI, hey, give me the answer or do this task. It's more about using it to think differently about the whole challenge. Well, to explore possibilities or maybe constraints that you just wouldn't have seen on your own. It's like a brainstorming amplifier almost.
And they gave a pretty practical way to do that too, didn't they? That Christy framework.
Exactly. Christy, context, role, interview, task.
Okay.
It's basically a structured way to talk to the AI, to prompt it, that lifts it way beyond just, a fancy search engine or text generator.
Right. So you give it the background.
Yeah, the context. Then you tell it who it should be the role, like act as a skeptical investor or be a creative marketing director.
Okay, got it.
Then you structure the interaction like an interview, asking probing questions. And finally, you define the task clearly. And the powerful insight there, from the sources anyway, is that the better you get at asking the AI these kinds of structured questions, the stronger leader you actually become.
So it's about intelligent inquiry.
Precisely. Not just waiting for an output.
That really shifts the focus, doesn't it? It's less about the AI's raw power and more about the leader's skill in how they interact with it, how they prompt it, which makes you wonder if the way you interact is so important, how does that compare to just, buying the AI tools and rolling them out? Is just having the tech enough?
Well, that distinction is another really big theme in these sources.
Okay.
One data leader in the material specifically talks about the difference between AI implementation and AI mastery.
Implementation versus mastery.
Right. Implementation is, buying the software, installing it, maybe some basic training, check the box.
Right. The tech rollout.
Mastery, though,
Right.
that's really understanding where and how AI adds real meaningful value. It's integrating it thoughtfully, strategically, and crucially, doing it responsibly.
So it's way beyond just a tech project. It's a strategic integration, guided by purpose.
Exactly. The sources really stress this idea of ethical innovation, not just asking what can AI do, but what should we do with it?
The should question.
Yeah. And a really critical piece tied to achieving mastery is creating psychological safety within the teams using it.
Psychological safety. Okay, tell me more about that connection.
Well, people need to feel safe enough to actually talk about this stuff, to voice their doubts, their fears, maybe even criticisms about the AI tools without, feeling stupid or fearing reprisal.
Right, because it's new and potentially disruptive.
Totally. If there's fear or just confusion, you won't get real engagement. And without that engagement, you can't reach mastery. It just won't happen.
So it really underlines that adopting technology is fundamentally still a very human process.
Absolutely. And one source makes a great point ultimately. Your customers don't really care about your fancy tech stack.
Sure.
They care about how you make them feel.
Yeah.
That connection, that experience.
That idea of psychological safety being key for AI mastery, that's
Yeah.
powerful. It ties the tech challenge straight back to core leadership skills, doesn't it?
It really does.
And speaking of the human side, there was another pretty intriguing application discussed, using AI to boost self-awareness.
Ah, yes. AI meets psychoanalysis, I think one piece called it.
Yeah, something like that.
This is where it gets, well, potentially really transformative, but also maybe a bit uncomfortable.
How so?
The sources explored using AI in feedback systems. Think like a supercharged 360-degree review.
Okay.
The promise is efficiency, maybe, but also authenticity, getting unbiased insights surfaced by AI that could help leaders see blind spots they might otherwise miss, or maybe subconsciously ignore.
Unbiased insights. That definitely resonates. I mean, let's be honest, feedback from actual people can sometimes be filtered
Right.
by relationships or just people not wanting to deliver bad news.
Absolutely. We all do it to some extent. The idea is that AI, by analyzing patterns in communication or performance data, could potentially surface those difficult truths, those hard-to-hear points, more objectively. Potentially, yes. But, and this is crucial, the sources are really clear. This isn't about replacing human feedback entirely. Not at all.
Right.
The AI might help surface the information, maybe highlight patterns.
Yeah.
But it's the leader's willingness to actually look at that information and then the human conversations that happen around it. Those are still absolutely essential.
So the AI can hold up a mirror, maybe show you things you instinctively resist seeing.
Yeah, exactly.
But you still need the courage, the self-awareness to actually look in the mirror and engage with what you see.
That's it. The sources really emphasize this. The best leaders, the ones who grow, are open to hearing things they don't necessarily want to hear.
Right.
AI could become a powerful tool for that, but only if you're willing to use it that way.
It brings us right back to self-awareness being just fundamental for leadership, but now maybe augmented by technology.
Exactly. It turns AI into a tool for personal leadership development, not just, optimizing workflows or something.
Yeah.
And the material also touched on how all these points, the partnership, the mastery, the self-awareness, connect to even broader conversations about, well, AI's impact on humanity itself, the role of empathy in business today, and how AI is driving transformation on a really fundamental level. It shows how interconnected it all is.
Wow. Okay. We have covered a lot in this deep dive, really guided by these perspectives from IPL 25.txt and the Brand Called You episodes.
We really have. We started off seeing AI not just as a simple tool for tasks,
Right.
but as a potential strategic thought partner, something capable of helping leaders think through those huge, impossibly large goals, but only if you engage with it properly, using structured approaches like that CRIT framework.
And then we explored that really crucial difference the material highlighted, the gap between just implementing AI tools.
Yes, just buying the tech.
And actually mastering their integration, really emphasizing that the human factors, like creating psychological safety, are just as vital as the technology itself, maybe more so.
Definitely. And then we looked at that fascinating, maybe even edgy, potential of using AI to enhance a leader's self-awareness through more unbiased feedback.
Yeah, underscoring that real leadership growth demands that willingness, that courage to confront challenging insights. So these different layers, strategic partnership, thoughtful integration, personal development, they all seem to point towards a much bigger picture, don't they? Touching on AI's role and sort of redefining what it means to be a leader and maybe even what it means to be human in this new era.
I think so. Ultimately, this deep dive really shows that the whole conversation about AI and leadership, it isn't just about the code or the algorithms.
No.
It's deeply, deeply intertwined with core human elements. Things like trust, courage, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and that capacity to integrate truths, even uncomfortable ones, for growth.
And that's where it gets really interesting, I think. It leaves us and you with a thought to chew on. If the real power of AI in leadership isn't just about giving you faster answers, but maybe more about challenging your assumptions, revealing your blind spots, what does that fundamentally change for you? How does that shift your own perspective on leadership intuition and how you make decisions?